Thank you all for coming. I think this is not just an ordinary kind of gathering, simply because what we are talking about touches every part of the society. And they always say that a home makes a society. And if you are able to live in your big walls and the homeless are outside your walls, you are as unsafe as them. And that's how important it is when we discuss about homes. I try not to use the word affordable housing because we talk about affordable housing a lot in Kenya and in many countries. And what we usually don't speak about is how we can be able to make this dream achievable for everybody. The inspiration behind the idea that you see here is basically what I call a story of my father. The story of my father is a story which is replicated by everybody you are able to see in Kenya currently. And the story of my father is how he was able to build a house in almost a decade. An average years, it takes most of the Kenyans to do or build a house. I can say he was lucky because he ended up building, but the journey is what is most important here. From the first time, he's struggling to juggle between the basic or fundamental rights of everybody, and every parent usually does this, tries to know if I'm going to meet the fundamental right of education to my kids, or is it food I have to put, or is it shelter? And that is basically the things all of us or our parents have undergone. And in most cases, you realize the priority goes to us to be able to feed. That's the first thing. The second thing they always think, for those who are lucky to feed, is education. And for those ones who are able to provide the two, then they proceed to do shelter. The first thing he underwent is because of Israel, he could not be able to build a home. The first thing he could do is basically do what we call Kenyan way of building, what we call incremental aspect of building, where is able to save small bits of money, and if he's able to achieve a lorry of stones, is able to ferry a lorry of stones to the home. And the second thing he could be able to do and try to do sand and bring it back. The challenges could be every time from where we lived, every time he deposits a lorry, a month later he could be able to find a third of it has been scooped and stolen away. It's a challenge of everybody what they have undergone. The second part is that sometimes his savings could not be able to achieve it because as more he saves, more emergencies and needs happen to come in, school fees, food. So his dream is always postponed. And I remember this story very well because at one point, he decided that he has achieved a little bit of what he wanted in terms of stones and sand. He didn't know that the house needs more than that. What was needed is things that you cannot be able to bring back kwa shamba so that you can be able to store them. So he started a different approach of saving, of giving the local hardware some little bit of money so that they can be able to save for him for the purpose of cement and steel and the roofing. Little did he know that 2 years later that the hardware had to go down. So you can see the challenge of him saving through the local hardware without any security, because that's the only way he could be able to put his money without the danger or him getting the money off to be able to fulfill the other basic needs. That is the story of every Kenyan. The background of that story is actually what we are looking at and saying, the reason why we are bringing partners to this room is not for them to look at this as a business. We are looking at this as a social need, as our social responsibility to make affordable housing or housing in Kenya or give people shelter. I repeat this because I've talked with partners and I keep telling them, we are not coming together to do business. We are coming together to be able to fulfill the dream of most Kenyans, in which if we dependent on the government in terms of achievement of this dream, you know how hard it's going to be difficult for it to achieve. So Kenyans, what we are trying to do is, we are looking at the people at the bottom of the pyramid. I'm now not able to use the word bottom because it's now political, but let me use it for now. So we are looking at people who are in the sector in which they cannot be able to go anywhere and ask for money to build a home because they don't have that credit history. We are looking for people who are making income every day, but this money they cannot be able to save it because if they save it, the rate at which inflation is hitting the country economically, the money is actually depreciating. We are not helping them. If you ask them that they can be able to save to buy a roof or to buy a steel 12 months later, the rate at which the material costs in Kenya are going up every day, it basically means you are postponing their dream. That is the concept. So we are here saying, what can we be able to do in a small way to create impact? That's why they usually say, if you think you are small, that you cannot be able to create impact, spend some time with a mosquito at night. You will be able to understand that doesn't matter, it doesn't matter size and how big or small you are, doesn't matter. It is how we can put our heads together and say we need to face this head on. The achievement of this, that's why we came together and say, we are not going to do the normal systems and develop softwares and do things out there that people are not able to create impact. Nyumba Nkononi has been created as a social enterprise which has been put together by people who felt the need to do it. And I thank the Boda Boda Association, Juakali Association, Association of Clinic Officers, and a number of associations who we met and assisted us develop this product in an approach that has been developed by them because that is what they want. This product is for them. But what of those other people who are in the pipeline of creating this dream? We have people here, families, who want to have their parents own a home. How can they be able to do crowdfunding? We are calling it crowd housing. They are able to put their heads together and use this platform to build a house for their parents. What about these people who want to build a house for widows or people who are poor in a society? As we said, of what importance will be a nation or a state if the people within it don't have shelter? Why do you think we have campaigns for jiggers everywhere in the country? It's because people don't have decent housing. Why do you think we have housing costs becoming very high? It's because there's not enough. Why do you think we have so much of informal settlement coming in day in, day out? We don't have enough. And we have not given these people the platform through which, from the 500 or 200 shillings I make every day, I can be able to visualize. So what are we bringing to people? I want to quote Wayne Chisa, who said, it takes a society to combat homelessness and a strong nation to fight poverty. And that is where this launch is so close to our hearts, and the team at Nyumba Nkononi and the partners who have come up and say, what are we giving the people? We are giving them three things. Number one, we are giving them a platform through which they can be able to go to get plans, architectural plans. 90% of Kenyans in rural homes don't have access to architectural plans simply because they're unaffordable. We are giving them, we have built an artificial intelligence system to help them get that. A higher percentage than that in this country are not able to even get the bill of quantities, even worse. So they start houses, they get a loan, but they can't even know if the money they have gotten is going to finish a house. So their house is stalled. So giving them access to it. So a Mamamboga who is somewhere is able to access those two major or fundamental things without spending a coin. That is how social this product is. Then we get to the second stage. Number one, we are building an ecosystem of partners and suppliers who now have committed or are going to commit and say, why can't we be able to give access to affordable materials and give them at the smallest units to anybody in this country who want to do construction? It means if I'm a border rider today and I've made 200 shillings profit, Instead of me sitting in a bar, the first thing we did is to help you visualize. Visualization means through your phone, you can see how your house is growing. You can see how much cement you have, and you can buy up to a kg of cement. That is the revolution we are creating. It means when you visualize, your dream is likely to be achievable faster, simply because you can visualize, you can feel it, you can see it grow. When you have seen it growing, it means it gives you the motivation to construct and build. And the second thing we are giving, we are going to give the platform for financial institutions to be able to see your purchase credit history, to become as your credit rating or credit history to enable you achieve or get lending to finish your house. That is the most important thing that people who are in the informal sector cannot be able to have. If you have them, I'll purchase materials up to 70%, 90%, or 60% of my targets. It means I'm 70% into my dream. I only need 30% to achieve my dream. If I'm going to be given 30%, I come to Bet Korea and say, I have achieved 70%. Why deny me 30% to achieve my dream? That is the revolution we are creating. The third aspect, which is the most important part, is that we are helping anybody who has a dream to hold it in their hands from the mobile phone, regardless of which gadget you have. For the first time, we are using a blockchain technology to bring together who and anybody, from the stones, from the people who are providing sand in the local areas, from the fundi who is going to construct it for you. We are all bringing an ecosystem of construction in one room and assisting Akinyi or Pauline, who is in Kibera doing her fish or her hotel, I'll be able to access them. A dream she could not dream of. Now it is in her hands. And I think that is the story of Nyumba Nkononi. My message to suppliers, let me start with them, is that this is the best time, the only thing you'll ever do, that for generations to come, statisticians are going to look back and say, if we were to build 250,000 houses through Nyumba Nkononi, we have assisted 200,000 Kenyans to build homes, without having to look for donor funding, without having to look for money to give them. We have provided them, we have shown them how to fish, we have brought everything to them. They can do it. They have said they can do it. They're going to speak here. We have spoken to them. They have said, just give us the platform. They can do it. That is the story. For technical partners and NGOs who are here, I don't think there is any such thing that can create a bigger impact in the society than this, than giving people the right and the human right they truly deserve or they have dreamed about. For Kenyans out there, we now brought to you everything in your hands. You decide if you want to hold it or you want to drop it. It's your choice. We believe that we can all dream again. Thank you.
My name is Abeb. I'm the CEO Association of Matatu Operators. And wow, Nyumba Nkononi, I must admit, this is a very good initiative. Thinking about the informal sector, because that's where basically we come in as an association dealing with drivers, conductors, the operation managers. These are people who are earning on a daily basis. They are paid on a daily basis, and you find they can't save, and even if they save, they can't reach to a point of, building a house into completion. I remember when Kerry and Winnie came to our offices, and they brought the idea of Nyumba Nkononi. I was so amused, and I remembered of my younger brother in the village. He started a house and he couldn't finish the house. So this time round, he was, sis, kindly help me finish the house. So, and I questioned Winnie. I wish I had met Nyumba Mkononi. I would have introduced it to my brothers. And for the association, we are really glad because this is an initiative that will really help our team, and it is a good deal. I must admit that these are people who will benefit, and they will own houses, even without so much complications of getting loans from the banks, which to them it's a bit tricky. So on behalf of the association, we are glad to partner with Nyumba Mkononi, and as an association, we have the greatest number of employees under the informal sector. These are the drivers, conductors, field and operation managers working under the public transport sector, PSV as known, or best known as Matatu. It is our sincere hope that this initiative will help and assist our people in owning houses through the program, hence making housing affordable to them. Our membership is countrywide, comprising of several circles and stakeholders in every region in the country, and mostly comprising of Nairobi, which has the biggest number of membership. It is our sincere hope that this program reaches out to each one of us and benefit on it, bringing hope and creating a future home for our families. We appreciate Nyumba Mkononi to having this initiative, and we will work with you the journey to make it a success. Thank you so much. God bless Nyumba Mkononi. God bless you all.
As I believe Nyumba Mkononi should not just end at the Kenyan boundaries. They need to get out of Africa, out of Kenya to go to Africa, because African countries are becoming one. In fact, African continent is now becoming like one country. And even when it comes to health professionals, yes, we are here, clinical officers, but we have so many other cadres who have the same characteristics with clinical officers. Yes, they earn a salary, but salaries have never been enough to help one own a house. Many of them have been earning for years, but they still do not have houses. And therefore this one comes, it is an idea that comes at the right time. It is an idea that is not late, although if it came yesterday, we would have even appreciated more. But we believe that it will help. In fact, it's an idea, looking at the agendas, the big four agendas of the government. Yes, they are called big four agendas of the government, but if you look at it more critically, with or without the government, these are the needs that we have. The needs of housing, universal, accessible, quality, and standard healthcare. But who will provide, who will be able to do all this when he is not coming from a home? He doesn't have a house. When you are not sure whether when you go back in the evening, you'll meet 3 padlocks from the landlord because you are unable to pay for rent. I think this one comes to relieve the health workers. It comes to relieve the Kenyans of many walks of life so that they can be able to concentrate on one thing, service delivery. I feel and strongly feel that this is an idea, Bwana CEO, this is an idea that we should not just leave it like that. We need to take it to the final end. And we need to have it go to everybody. Everybody. Politics aside, anything else aside, I think this is an idea that anybody who minds about our people, whom is about himself or herself would want to be associated with. And therefore, without saying anything beyond that, I want to say that as a Clinical Officers Association and also the African Network of Clinical Practitioners, if you call me upon that, we are going to take it. We are going to support it. We are going to look at networks so that we can be able to make Kenya great, Africa great, and we can be able to meet one of the greatest needs and requirements of our people. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Habari zenu. Habari zenu tena. Nashukuru sana kuwa kwa kamati hii, na mimi ni mmoja wa kiongozi wa bodaboda Kenya mzima, na kwa jina naitwa Kimani wa Duthi. Bodaboda Kenya mzima ni kama 2 milioni, na hao wana bodaboda wanafanya biashara, na kila mwana bodaboda hubeba zaidi ya watu 20, na kila mtu analipa kama 50. Safari fupi sana ni 50. So ukiangalia kwa bodaboda wanatengeneza pesa mingi kama hata kama ni 2,000, na mahali ambao ni area mbaya kabisa wanatengeneza 1,000. Shida tunao kwa bodaboda ni mambo ya management ya pesa. Unakuta mwana boda anatengeneza pesa mingi na anaziweka mfuko, lakini hajui jinsi ya kutumia. Lakini kunao wana bodaboda ambao kama huyu mmoja ameongea hapa, kiongozi wetu wa Nairobi, wanajua kujipanga. Kwa bodaboda, mtu yeyote tu wa bodaboda akiingia kwa bodaboda, nia yake inakuwa kupata nyumba. Lakini hiyo ni fikira tu, lakini kupata hiyo kununua hizo material inakuwa ni challenge. Lakini kuna masako 2-3, moja iko Kitengela, nyingine iko Nyanyuki na nyingine iko Sharangani, ambao wako na hiyo saving culture. Lakini kwa bodaboda yote anafikiriaga kuoni nyumba. Lakini sasa challenge ni hizi pesa utasitumia kivipi? Wana bodaboda wako na pesa saa zote, lakini unakuta hizi pesa inafanya kazi ambao si sawa. Sasa nikisimama hapa kama chairman wa National wa United Bodaboda Associations, mimi naunga mkono 100% Nyumba Nkononi, kwa sababu sasa hiyo ndio njia. Mwana bodaboda hata ukiwaona wengi wako na furisa, na wengine hata wanatumia pesa kwa watu wengine. Sasa hii ni wakati mwema na mwafaka, kwa sababu naona tukipitia hii njia kila mtu atapata material ya kununua shamba. Kuna wengi wana bodaboda wako na mashamba, lakini hawajaweza kutengeneza pesa ya kuanza kuweka material. Ile hakikisho naweza sema ni kwamba through our partners, tukigiana vizuri, ati watu wa bodaboda wanaona akiweka pesa iende kwa cement, inaenda na inaonekana iko kwa cement, na kuambia bodaboda karibu nusu ya wana bodaboda wako na mpangilio mzuri, na kila mtu anataka kuona nyumba. Wengi wa hao wana bodaboda wanalipa rent. Na wacha nikwambie, hakuna kitu inaumiza hata kama ni mimi kama mwisho wa mwezi. Mwisho wa mwezi sana sana huaga hatuna raha, kwa sababu anytime unaweza sikia nyumba inagogongwa. Na si ati hatuna pesa, lakini hatujui kumanage. Kwa hivyo bwana CEO, ile kitu naweza sema Nyumba Nkononi imekuja kusave wana bodaboda. Na si wana bodaboda peke yake, hata watu wa jua kali, informal sectors. Wakati tuliwaambia kuhusu hii mpangilio ya Nyumba Nkononi, hata wao wako na nia na wako na haja ya kuelewa hii. Mahali unaona unaweka shilingi yako na unaona inaenda pale na unaletewa message. Umenunua simiti 5, umenunua mawe 5 na umenunua. Washeni nimwambie partners, naweza muhakikishia kwa line yangu ya bodaboda mtapata, ni nyinyi pengine mtashindwa kusupply. Ile ndio hakikisho. Ile naweza mwambia simiti ni kuisha itaisha, ama ni kufungua mtafungua mabranches mingi, kwa sababu watu watanunua. Kwa sababu sasa hata kama ni big 4, tunaweza sema ni big 4 yetu kwa bodaboda, kwa sababu hii inaweza kuwa big 4 ya kule haifikii sisi, ama zile nyumba zinatengenezwa inakuwa gumu. Tunataka big 4 iwe kwa Nyumba Nkononi. Asanteni sana. God bless you.
Good evening, everyone. So I think for us as a bank, we come in to complete the whole equation. Of course, you've heard about the fact that this whole idea of Nyumba Nkononi is more or less like trying to bring some abstracts to a reality. And when I talk of the reality, I always say, what you see is what you get. In short, as Credit Bank, we are very excited to be at the center of this. For those who've never heard of Credit Bank, we've been around for 35 years. We are a fully licensed banking institution, really at the center of innovation and technology. And of course, well, I didn't have time to really narrate a bit about the bank, but we've won several accolades. We are very good in structured deals where we will be saying that, you don't necessarily have to, use your money upfront. We can connect you. We can actually create a market via supplier, via instruments, and it becomes very cheap. But I think what we are saying today is, as Credit Bank, we want to bring dignity to human lives. I mean, there's a good reason why, the whole idea of housing is actually entrenched in our constitution today. So I think just to keep it short, in the interest of time, our commitment today is that at Credit Bank, we really understand the credit space. We understand housing. Obviously, we are part of, the new Kenya Mortgage Refinance Institution. But more importantly is that, what you are calling, I listened to the student who was talking about the credit scoring. We'll come in and plug into the financial literacy. We'll start to inform you on what kind of volumes you need to build to be able to qualify for a certain loan. We're going to derive a pattern from your bankings and your purchases, and we're going to give you a credit score. So to the extent that that credit score can be shared with the supplier, the buyer, and everybody else, and therefore it begins to give you some sort of a profile that you're looking at. And for us as a bank, I think we'll come in to now just make sure that you're not in that structure that is not complete, because we want to be able to give everybody the dignity of life. But I think for us, we want to handhold you and actually get it done. Thank you very much for considering us as part of this, and have a good evening, and looking forward to taking this forward. Thank you.
Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, let me start by saying that I'm truly privileged to be here with you today. And thank you, Sandeep. When you say Sandeep anywhere, this is serious business. So this is a really, really serious business. If I can start with my own story. Many years ago, as a young professional, married with 2 kids, I took a decision that I need to have a house of my own. At the time, I was living in a company house and in Westland, and I was a member also of the SACCO. And so my focus was actually to buy a house as opposed to building a house, because I thought I didn't have the patience to go and supervise the building of a house. So I visited very many properties as I was trying to identify one that was suitable for us, and I was always short. Either the SACCO savings were not adequate, or the mortgage facilities were not sustainable with the salary that I was earning then. And so the search of the house could not match my savings, and the search for the house could not match the mortgage that I had to pay when you do all the calculations. And so I can tell you today, it took me 11 years. 11 years, specifically from 1994 to 2005. Indeed, I had to change jobs before I could get the so-called dream house. And so this is very personal, very close to my heart. And I wonder how many people have got a similar story such as mine. And what sort of population? I was looking at the statistics. I was looking at 2% or something who got access to mortgage. Betty, I'm sure you'll disagree with that, but I was just looking at the statistics. There are not very many people who can actually access mortgage facilities. So you can imagine my delight when Naftali and Karume invited me, and we had a conversation just somewhere here in Serena. When they told me about this, I realized this is something that we actually need. The president of clinical officers, they said, this is an idea whose time has come. It is so very true. And as I sat here listening to Kimani Wanduthi and others, that this speaks to them, I think we are onto something that is very, very special. But even more important, to see young people leveraging technology in order to provide solutions for current and very specific needs of our people. That you can use technology to support us to attain affordable housing. This is a real need for society today. And it is not just a political thing. People do need to own their own houses. And so the team has rightly recognized that this is not a challenge about financing cost. This is an ecosystem play. You need to involve the value chains, the supply chains, and so on. And you're talking about professional fees. You're talking about material costs. We're talking about income streams that cannot sustain credit servicing. We're talking about business models that are sustainable. And therefore, if that is the case, I want to applaud you, Naftali. I want to applaud you, Karume, and your entire team, Jonathan, Winnie, Wilson, Joyce, and all those partners who want to work collaboratively in order to provide a solution that works for our people. You talk about the bottom of the pyramid. I don't like the term bottom of the pyramid, but be that as it may, if you can touch at the lowest levels, then all of us then have a hope. For that reason, therefore, I wish you success. You and all your partners as you roll out Nyumba Nkononi. This is going to open the door for many Kenyans who want to build, to develop, and to own their own homes. I thank you for your kind attention.